Thank you, Andy, for this opportunity. Thank you, TLC community. Thank you, coworkers, my director, my managers. Thank you for my team. I appreciate this opportunity to stand before you. I'm honored and privileged. A woman was on a journey to a far-off place she had never been. But she was dedicated, motivated, and committed. She was excited and confident and prepared for whatever came her way. As she began her journey, out of nowhere, she fell into a pit. This pit was a full 6 feet deep. The walls were covered in dirt and rocks and branches sticking out. She got nervous, she got scared, but she relied on her training. She told herself, I have to get out of this hole. I have to dig myself out of this pit. She dug her fingers into the wall, used the dead roots as leverage, and she began to climb out of the pit. As she climbed out of the pit, her eyes perched over the side, and she could see a sign that said, "Mind the pits." This Saturday, Trident will celebrate another year of our dedication to our military and civilian population. We have provided a premier online education to students with internet connection, a few hours to spare during the week for studying, and they're adaptable to a changing environment. This journey will be culminated by hundreds of graduates who decided to accept our invitation to enroll in class. And this decision was met with many peaks and pits. But for every pit, we were prepared. You could say we were made for it. We were born for it. You might say it's in our DNA. There's something unique and different about this university. And dare I say, for today's meeting, I'm going to categorize it as Trident DNA. How could she not see the sign? She became cautious, even more nervous, more alert. She continued on her path, but shortly after she continued, she fell into another pit. She turned down another corner, fell into another pit, but she climbed out. She alternated her path, steadily going forward, but continuously fell into a pit. But all the while she fell into a pit, she climbed out of the pit. She managed to fall into 7 pits in one day. At the end of the night, she cried herself, how could I keep falling in these pits? Why do I keep falling? Where are they coming from? I'm doing everything right. She kept falling, but she kept climbing. The next day she fell into 8 holes. And then she realized, I'm not falling, I'm climbing. Because every day she's standing outside of the pit, looking over, looking forward, moving ahead. The next day she chose another path, only to fall into more holes and climb out. The next day she found more holes to climb out of. She kept falling and kept climbing. Along the way she met people in the holes. She got excited. Instantly she got down on her knees and said, step on my back, this is going to be easy. We're getting out of here. The people looked at her and said, how do you know so much about holes? I don't know anything about holes. I know how to dig myself out of it. Trident DNA, you may be wondering, what is that? What does that mean? Anyone who's ever answered a phone at 4:50 and you get off at 5, you have Trident DNA. Anyone who's ever bugged a coworker to expedite a process for a student, you have Trident DNA. Anyone who's ever corrected a coworker's email for grammar, you have Trident DNA. Anyone who's ever worked in the old building, you have Trident DNA. Anyone who worked here through the show cause, you have Trident DNA. Anyone who double-checked the interpretation of policies before explaining to a student, you have Trident DNA. Anyone who ever started off as a temp and became a full-time employee, you have Trident DNA. Anyone who ever left their day disappointed knowing that they can do better, you have Trident DNA. This woman, she taught people how to climb out of the pits. Sometimes they fell together. All the time, they climbed together. There was massive holes, small holes, difficult holes, ones that were dangerous and frightened her, but she always climbed out, always dug herself. She was beyond frustration and anger. She accepted, she coped, she dealt with the pit. Down to the bottom, darkest pit, she was dedicated and committed to her goal of climbing. Finally, she reached a point in her journey where the pit stopped, and she turned around and looked behind her, and she saw all the pits she had climbed out of. She saw her footsteps where I almost fell back into that one, but I kept climbing. She saw the footsteps of people with her who helped her and assisted her climbing out of these pits. She stayed dedicated to achieving her goal, never quitting, and serving others whenever she can. Now, we can look back at our pits and see that some of them were expected and unexpected, but they were always matched by our peaks. Pitt would say, I would say, TLC's communication debacle between just about everybody and their mother. That was met with a peak, establishing the culture of commit. A Pitt, TA was altered, causing another impromptu administrative process. This was met by another peak. We consolidated our financial aid department to streamline processes. A Pitt, golden, wonderful TUI members have departed. We met that with hiring new leadership to help us focus on our mission. Certain job advances may not have occurred, but they were met with updating online classroom experience with the new TLC and mapping out a strategic 5-year plan, awarding community members for demonstrating exemplary commit values. Oh, and did I mention we got new coffee? But wait, we voted for the same old coffee. We strive to be the best university, not because we are the strongest, smartest, or the prettiest. It's because when we fall, we get up. When we're lying down at the bottom of the pit, we climb. That's just what we do. These setbacks are not our defining moment, just a reminder of where we are and where we've come from. Also, Saturday, our students, this graduation is going to be an example of the pits they've had to overcome. Every pit that was in the form of a failed grade, we can remind them, you retook the course and you passed it. Every TA fumble, you found another payment type. Every misunderstood assignment, you went and sought out explanation. Every missed session was answered with a phone call and an email, and you decided to answer that, and you decided to stay committed to your goals and climb out of that pit. For every objection that you could not attend school, they were met with the coaching opportunity of why they must and should stay in school. This Saturday is a testament of our efforts to our student. Let's look at this like a dating site. You're dating someone, the only thing you have is a phone and an email. You never get to see them. And then finally, after that one day, that one special day, you get to see them. You're hoping you don't get catfished. Let's not catfish our students. Let's serve them with kindness and courtesy. This Saturday, it will be our moment to shine and celebrate with our students. This is where all the PowerPoints, the graphs, the projected enrollments, the spreadsheets on active military versus veteran, they will get faces. This is where the students that kept you on the phone beyond well what you wanted and intended, they're going to give you a hug. This is where those families that sacrifice for their mother, their father, brother or sister, aunt and auntie, they're going to join in applause. Those board meetings, TLC meetings, curriculum development meetings, where policy and procedures were decided that's going to impact our student. They're going to walk across the stage, receive elation from over 1,000 people. They will carry our service, our commitment, for years to come. For those who are wondering, why am I here? What is my purpose here? Your answer will be receiving a WASP accredited degree from a DLD MOU approved school. Now, I'm almost done, I promise. But just have a few more instructions just for this Saturday. Ladies, don't forget your courteous and delightful personalities that will make any graduation negativity dissipate like steam. Gentlemen, don't forget your professional swagger and charm that will halt any wayward misgivings. Faculty, this is the time to come off the ivory tower and confront those bright-eyed students who've never met a faculty member as dedicated as you. And plus, they've never met you. Deans, this is the time to put a little magic to the curriculum that you created and supported by witnessing the great achievements of our students. Board, this is not a moment for your calculators and tedious engagement with numbers. This is a time to focus on our 300+ students as they come to celebrate this graduation. This is a celebratory moment of our collaborative efforts between our students and the Trident community. Let's let them know that any pit that they encounter, they can climb out of. Any obstacle that they engage, they can overcome. Any problem can be met with a solution. And they're going to get this from us because we have the Trident DNA to commit. Thank you. My name is Greg.